So you have this big event at Madison Square Garden. It went on for hours. I don't even know if you were there for the whole thing. I don't know what time you got there. I was told and made aware that you had no idea about this comedian who made comments.
You think we're bad for America? You think I'm bad for America?
Yeah.
You do?
In the long haul, I think you
Really?
and all these opinion
That's
shows.
sad, Ted.
Sean Hannity, the unshakable titan of conservative media, just revealed something unexpected.
By the way, all those people in the back are fake news.
At 62, the man who has dominated headlines and shaped countless debates has dropped a confession that has everyone talking. What secret could he be hiding? The meteoric rise of a conservative powerhouse. Sean Hannity is the kind of name that stirs up instant reactions. Love, hate, or a mix of both. Regardless of how you feel about him, one thing is clear. The man knows how to keep people talking. But how did a kid from a humble Irish Catholic family in New York rise to become one of the loudest voices in conservative media? Buckle up, because Hannity's journey to the top is a story of grit, guts, and a dash of controversy. Born on December 30th, 1961, Sean grew up in Franklin Square, a small Long Island neighborhood with more charm than glam. The youngest of 4 kids, Sean learned early on that being heard sometimes required a little extra volume, a skill he would master later in life. His parents, Hugh and Lillian Hannity, were no strangers to hard work. Hugh was a World War II veteran who later worked as a family court officer, while Lillian balanced roles as a stenographer and a corrections officer. Their example taught young Sean the value of discipline and perseverance, lessons that would stay with him as he navigated his future. Sean's early life was ordinary in many ways, but also full of potential. He attended St. Pius Preparatory Seminary, a strict high school that focused on academics and religious studies. The seminary might have shaped him in some ways, but let's be real. Sean as a priest, it just wasn't meant to be. Even then, his passion for big ideas and lively debates hinted at a future where he'd be in front of a microphone. After high school, Sean dabbled in higher education, first at New York University and later at Adelphi University. But college wasn't his thing. He left before graduating, a move that might seem risky to some, but turned out to be a genius decision for someone who preferred learning in the real world. Sean tried his hand at several jobs, including working as a building contractor. The hands-on work gave him practical skills and a sense of independence. But it didn't take long for Sean to realize his true calling involved using his voice, not his hammer. In the late 1980s, Sean got his first taste of broadcasting at KCSB-FM, a college radio station in Santa Barbara, California. He was a volunteer host, but his fiery opinions and unapologetic style quickly turned heads. It wasn't all smooth sailing, though. Controversy followed him early, and the station dropped his show after a series of heated remarks. While many might have given up, Sean saw the setback as a stepping stone. Fast forward to 1989, and Sean was back on the airwaves in Huntsville, Alabama. His bold commentary and traditional views resonated with listeners, and soon he was making waves in the talk radio scene. However, controversy wasn't far behind, and his outspoken style got him fired again. If you're keeping count, that's 2 terminations before most people would even consider their first career change. But Sean wasn't most people. He dusted himself off, kept his eyes on the prize, and eventually landed a new gig. By the mid-90s, Sean was hosting The Sean Hannity Show, a talk radio program that quickly gained popularity. In 1996, his big break arrived when Fox News launched and hired him as a co-host for Hannity and Combs, a political debate show pairing Sean's conservative viewpoints with Alan Combs' liberal ones. The show was a hit, not because the 2 hosts agreed on anything, they rarely did, but because their dynamic was pure television gold. Sean's fiery, no-nonsense style drew in viewers, and his connection with conservative audiences solidified his reputation as a leading voice in American media. He had a knack for saying what his viewers were thinking, or at least what they wanted to hear. Whether you agreed with him or not, Sean Hannity had arrived, and he wasn't going anywhere. In 2009, Alan Combs left the show, and Fox News rebranded it simply as Hannity. Now the solo host, Sean, had even more freedom to shape the conversation, and he didn't waste the opportunity. His show became a platform for conservative voices, often featuring high-profile guests and heated debates. Over time, it wasn't just a TV show. It was a megaphone for a particular slice of America, and Sean held it firmly in his hands. What makes Sean's story remarkable isn't just his success, but the sheer persistence it took to get there. From college dropout to talk radio host to one of the most recognizable names in media, Sean Hannity's journey is a testament to the power of determination. And let's face it, a fair bit of controversy. He knew how to get people talking, even if it meant ruffling a few feathers along the way. But here's the thing, Sean Hannity's rise to power wasn't just about him. Behind the scenes, there's a side of Sean that even his most loyal fans might not know about. What was he like when the cameras weren't rolling? What did his private life look like amid the chaos of his public career? And how did he balance it all? Behind the spotlight lies a hidden world. Sean Hannity might be a master of fiery debates and sharp commentary, but when the cameras are off and the microphones are muted, there's a side to him that few people ever see. For someone so often in the public eye, Sean has managed to keep much of his personal life shrouded in mystery. Sure, his booming voice and unapologetic opinions dominate the airwaves. But what about Sean Hannity, the man, the one who isn't making headlines or sparking debates? Let's peel back the curtain on the hidden world behind the media powerhouse. It's not a stretch to say that Sean values his privacy. Despite decades in the limelight, he has managed to keep his family life relatively low-key, a feat in itself when your face is on television every night. Sean met Jill Rhodes, a journalist from Alabama, during his early days as a radio host. He was instantly taken by her charm and intelligence. It's the classic story of opposites attracting: Sean, the brash and ambitious media personality, and Jill, the thoughtful and steady journalist. Their relationship blossomed, and soon they were married. Together they had 2 children, Sean Patrick and Mary Kelly, who were born in the late 90s and early 2000s. While Sean's career skyrocketed, Jill was a grounding force in his life, often working behind the scenes as an editor and sounding board for his ideas. For years, they seemed like the quintessential power couple, supportive, private, and seemingly unshakable. But life in the media fast lane isn't easy, even for the most grounded couples. As Sean's career reached new heights, the demands on his time and energy grew. Long hours in the studio, constant public scrutiny, and the relentless pace of the news cycle took their toll. By 2020, the couple announced their divorce after more than 26 years of marriage. While the split was reportedly amicable, it marked the end of a significant chapter in Sean's life. Interestingly, even as they lived separate lives, Sean and Jill managed to keep things civil. Their focus remained on co-parenting their children and maintaining a positive relationship. Unlike the dramatic splits that often play out in the tabloids, Sean and Jill's divorce was refreshingly low-key. No messy court battles, no tell-all interviews. Just 2 people who decided to go their separate ways. Of course, a man like Sean doesn't stay single for long, and soon rumors began swirling about his relationship with fellow Fox News host, Ainsley Earhardt. The 2 were spotted together at events and even reportedly broadcasted from the same location during the pandemic lockdown. While neither has confirmed their relationship, the speculation has only added to the intrigue surrounding Sean's private life. Are they just colleagues, close friends? Something more? The jury is still out, and Sean isn't spilling the beans anytime soon. For someone who thrives on being in the public eye, Sean has been remarkably successful at keeping his personal life out of the spotlight. It's a balancing act that few public figures manage well. His fiercely loyal fans might know all about his political opinions, but his private life remains just that, private. How do you think someone as busy and visible as Sean Hannity maintains such a strong sense of privacy? Is it sheer determination, or has he mastered the art of deflection? And what does this hidden side of Sean tell us about the man behind the microphone? Perhaps the answer lies in the relationships he has cultivated over the years. From his enduring bond with his ex-wife to his rumored romance with Ainsley, Sean's personal connections reveal a softer, more grounded side of him, a side that might surprise even his most devoted fans. But if there's one thing we know about Sean Hannity, it's that he's full of surprises. Which brings us to his unique and, let's say, unconventional bond with one of the most controversial figures in modern politics. What happens when a media titan and a former president forge a friendship that goes far beyond the typical host-guest dynamic? An unbreakable bond with the president of controversy. If Sean Hannity's career were a movie, his relationship with Donald Trump would be one of the most gripping subplots. It's not every day you see a television host and a sitting president develop a friendship that feels more personal than professional. But then again, nothing about Sean Hannity's career has been ordinary. The connection between Sean and Donald began long before Trump's meteoric rise to the presidency. As a businessman and media personality, Trump had long been a guest on Sean's shows, where their mutual admiration was evident. But it wasn't until Trump launched his presidential campaign in 2015 that their bond truly deepened. Sean quickly became one of Trump's most vocal supporters, using his platform to champion the candidate's policies and defend him against critics. On air, Sean's unwavering support for Trump was clear. But behind the scenes, their relationship was far more intricate. Reports of late-night phone calls and strategy sessions paint a picture of a friendship that blurred the lines between media and politics. During Trump's presidency, Sean became more than just a media ally. He was an unofficial advisor. Insiders claim the two men spoke frequently, discussing everything from policy decisions to public relations strategies. Sean's role in Trump's inner circle even earned him the nickname Shadow Chief of Staff, a title that raised eyebrows among critics who questioned the ethics of such a close relationship. The bond between the two men wasn't without its challenges. While Sean was publicly supportive of Trump's controversial policies, like the travel ban targeting predominantly Muslim countries, he reportedly offered private advice that sometimes urged caution. During the January 6 Capitol riots, for example, leaked text messages revealed that Sean encouraged Trump's team to take a more moderate tone to de-escalate tensions. Still, Sean's public loyalty to Trump never wavered. He used his show as a platform to amplify Trump's messages, rally conservative supporters, and counter the narratives of mainstream media. For Trump, Sean's show was a lifeline, a direct channel to his base that bypassed traditional gatekeepers. And for Sean, the association with Trump solidified his role as one of the most influential voices in conservative media. But with great influence comes great scrutiny. Critics accused Sean of crossing the line between journalism and political advocacy, arguing that his close relationship with Trump compromised his objectivity. Sean, however, has never claimed to be a journalist. In his view, he's a commentator, a storyteller with strong opinions, not a neutral observer. The dynamic between Sean and Trump is a fascinating case study in the interplay between media and politics. It's a relationship that has shaped not only Sean's career, but also the broader landscape of American media. Their bond is as divisive as the men themselves, with supporters praising their partnership and detractors decrying it as a dangerous blending of power and influence. But here's the million-dollar question. What happens when a bond like this starts to unravel? What happens when private doubts clash with public loyalty? The shocking truth behind the Dominion scandal. Sean Hannity has spent decades as a beacon for conservative voices, unflinching in his opinions and unapologetic in his approach. But even the most seasoned media figures aren't immune to controversy. In the aftermath of the 2020 presidential election, Sean found himself at the epicenter of one of the most explosive media scandals in modern history, the Dominion voting systems lawsuit. Let's set the stage. It was late 2020, and Donald Trump, fresh off his loss to Joe Biden, was claiming the election was stolen. Central to these allegations was Dominion Voting Systems, a company accused of tampering with votes to favor Biden. The claims, spearheaded by Trump's legal team, were wild, unsubstantiated, and utterly captivating for millions of viewers. Fox News, eager to retain its loyal audience, gave airtime to these theories, and Sean Hannity was one of the loudest voices echoing them. On his nightly show, Sean expressed concerns about election integrity, implying that something wasn't quite right. His commentary fueled doubts about the electoral process and fed the growing narrative of fraud. His viewers, already disillusioned by the election results, latched onto his words as validation of their fears. But behind the scenes, a very different story was unfolding. As Dominion pursued a defamation lawsuit against Fox News for $1.6 billion, internal documents began to surface. Among the revelations, Sean Hannity admitted under oath that he never believed the allegations about Dominion, not for 1 second. You read that right. The same Sean Hannity who publicly stoked fears of election fraud didn't buy the story himself. His deposition revealed a stark contrast between his private beliefs and his on-air rhetoric, raising serious questions about the responsibility of media figures to present the truth, even in the realm of opinion-based programming. Dominion's lawsuit wasn't just a legal battle. It was a bombshell that exposed the inner workings of Fox News. The network's executives, including Rupert Murdoch, knew the claims were baseless, but were reluctant to publicly refute them for fear of alienating their audience. Sean's testimony became a key piece of evidence, illustrating the tension between journalistic integrity and commercial pressures. In April 2023, Fox News settled the lawsuit for a staggering $787,500,000, a record-breaking sum that underscored the gravity of the situation. While the settlement allowed Fox to avoid a prolonged trial, the damage to its reputation was undeniable, and for Sean, the fallout was particularly harsh. Critics accused him of betraying his audience, prioritizing ratings over truth, and undermining public trust in the electoral process. Supporters, meanwhile, argued that Sean was simply doing his job as a commentator, not a journalist. After all, his role has always been to provide opinions, not hard news. Regardless of where you stand, the Dominion scandal marked a turning point for Sean Hannity. It peeled back the layers of his public persona, revealing the complexities and contradictions of a man who has built his career on being a voice for the people. For the first time, many of his fans were left wondering, how much of what Sean says is what he truly believes, and how much is tailored to keep viewers coming back for more? As the dust settled, one thing became clear. The power of media figures like Sean Hannity isn't just in what they say, it's in what their audiences believe. And when that power is wielded recklessly, the consequences can be seismic. But Sean's story isn't just about scandal, it's about the delicate balance between influence and accountability, between personal beliefs and public narratives. So where does this leave Sean Hannity? Is he the hero of his own story, or a cautionary tale for the modern media age, a legacy on the edge of influence and accountability? Sean Hannity's career is a tale of two legacies. On one hand, he is a self-made media titan, a man who rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most influential voices in conservative America. On the other hand, he is a lightning rod for controversy, constantly walking the tightrope between championing his beliefs and facing the consequences of his words. To his supporters, Sean is more than just a broadcaster. He's a warrior for conservative values. His no-nonsense style, fiery debates, and unwavering dedication to his audience have earned him a loyal following. They see him as a rare voice willing to challenge the mainstream narrative, a defender of the underdog in an increasingly polarized political landscape. But to his critics, Sean represents everything wrong with modern media. They argue that his close ties to political figures, particularly Donald Trump, blur the lines between journalism and propaganda. The Dominion scandal only amplified these concerns, casting a shadow over his credibility and raising questions about the ethical boundaries of opinion-based programming. Despite the controversies, Sean's impact on the media landscape is undeniable. Over the years, he has built an empire that spans television, radio, and publishing. His nightly show on Fox News consistently ranks among the highest-rated programs in cable news. His radio program, The Sean Hannity Show, reaches millions of listeners across the country, and his books, including Let Freedom Ring and Live Free or Die, have cemented his place as a thought leader in conservative circles. But influence comes with a cost. As the media industry grapples with issues of bias, accountability, and the spread of misinformation, Sean finds himself at a crossroads. The Dominion lawsuit wasn't just a legal challenge, it was a wake-up call for media figures everywhere. It highlighted the immense power of platforms like Sean's and the responsibility that comes with that power. Sean's legacy, like his career, is a study in contrasts. On one side, he is a symbol of perseverance and success, proof that you don't need a college degree or traditional credentials to make it big. On the other side, he is a polarizing figure whose willingness to push boundaries has often landed him in hot water. So where does Sean Hannity go from here? Will he double down on his approach, unapologetic as ever? Or will the controversies of recent years prompt a shift in his perspective, a reckoning with the power and pitfalls of his platform? One thing is certain, Sean Hannity's story is far from over. As the media landscape continues to evolve, so too will the role of figures like Sean in shaping public opinion. His journey serves as both an inspiration and a cautionary tale, a reminder that with great power comes great responsibility. Sean Hannity's journey is as controversial as it is fascinating, a story of power, influence, and the complexities of modern media. What do you think about his legacy? Is he a truth teller, a showman, or something in between? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that dig deep.